I'm Nick.
I'm Nick.
And this is Truff Talk.
It's my favorite truffle.
Smells like savory and good.
Truffle and hot sauce put together.
Woo! There's no one I've given it to that hasn't loved it.
After we launched, our content strategy was still scrappy. I think we went to the store and we bought like our first Sony camera. We would budget like $30 a day to go have lunch.
The thinking was like, hey, we just need to make this sauce look cool, so we would go to places that we thought were cool, and then we'd order food that we thought would look the best on social media, and then we would put Truff on it, shoot it, and then what was left of it, we would just like eat.
And I think after a month or so, we realized this isn't a scalable type of strategy. We needed to do something that allowed us to get better content because we were terrible photographers. So that's when we started reaching out to different photographers that we thought were really cool across social media, DMing them saying, hey, you know, love your content style. Have you ever shot food? And a lot of these people had actually never shot food before. Shout out Keep Shoots.
Yes. It went from like people just like saying, sure, like this looks cool, to like people wanting to work with us heavy over the years because it was like a cool thing for them to work with Truff.
We're trying to always have like fresh takes on content and ways that we could continue to get attention on our account. And we came up with this idea called Truffle Thursdays. In-N-Out, for example, we'd go to In-N-Out with a fresh truffle, a shaver, and then we would film ourselves shaving black truffle onto animal style fries. And then we did this every Thursday, and it turned into a little series called Truffle Thursdays.
The thing was like, a lot of the point of it was for people to be like, why are you shaving truffle on In-N-Out? Like truffles are for bucatini and you know, different dishes like that. And then we were just like, no, it's for In-N-Out. And then we would pour Truff on top of the truffle, and it would make no sense. But what was cool about it was people were commenting and people were engaging in it, and they were sending it to people. And it kind of gave us this little niche of like, what the hell are these guys doing? But what was cool about it was, while that was happening, we were just slowly getting bigger and bigger in terms of like awareness, and you know, within a matter of months, it became a thing on Instagram to start shaving truffles on everything.
I think for us, you know, we wanted to create a product that was still very top shelf, luxury, great integrity with the formula and the recipe, but something that everybody could experience. And I think when you create connection of, you know, something high quality and as elegant as a truffle with what people think as, you know, a lower end type of dining, like, you know, a taco truck, those two worlds don't really meet, but we wanted to make that, I guess, the bridge between the two. I think with our brand and the way that we think about it is almost like a social currency. And when people, you know, receive Truff as a gift, whether, you know, they're an influencer or, you know, somebody's aunt, it's so cool to them. They want to show others. They're excited, one, and then it also sparks curiosity in other people because they want to now get it in their hands and then show other people, and it creates this, you know, viral momentum across social media.
And show you how to make some breakfast tacos. I'm gonna use the black truffle hot sauce.
Yeah, and when we looked at influencer, we were never like, hey, how can we use people to show our brand off? It was more like, hey, how can we build real relationships with people who will actually get value from our product? And a lot of them were, you know, influential people on the internet that we simply DM'd and we said, hey, we love what you're doing. We would love to send you our product. And then they'd send their media kit and they'd say, okay, these are my rates. And we're like, no, don't post this. We don't want you to post. We want you to enjoy it. Hit us up if you need anything. And it was that simple. And then we were fortunate to have, you know, people like Tal and Aaron and Jon, who had these great networks of people who are just influential by default. And they would, A, they loved the product, but B, they supporting their friends. And so a lot of our influencer stuff came off as so organic because it truly was.
Ben Baller, I think, was like our first really big hit. Somebody who was, you know, very relevant into the hype beast pop culture scene, amongst many other things. Pusha T, I remember.
Pharrell, Chef Michael Voltaggio.
Yeah, Chef Voltaggio.
Yeah, we had real chefs, especially a French chef like Ludo, who grew up around truffles. I think he called it the diamond of the kitchen, saying, oh, this is so good, why didn't I think of this? We were like, okay, like, all right, we're in the game. We got an email from, I think it was someone at Hearst or something. They're like, hey, we're with Oprah Mag or Oprah's Favorite Things. We would love to get a sample of your product. we kind of looked at it like, is this a scam? Are they really reaching out? Is Oprah's team reaching out for a bottle of this TRUFF, which we just launched a year ago? And I did some Googling on the name and the email account, and I was like, this is a real person. And I sent a screenshot to Nick in our kind of group text, and we were like, holy shit, they're asking for a sample. And I remember packaging the perfect package with we shined the labels on all the bottles, which we always did really, and then we made this perfect shipment, and we sent them a bunch of product, and we were just super cordial, super nice, hey, anything we can do, let us know. We're happy to send anything. We'll fly to somewhere and drop something off if we need to. And it turns out Oprah is a huge truffle lover and a huge hot sauce fan. And she kind of fell in love with Truff. Our first year that we were in business, we made it on the Oprah list. Big moment for the brand. We got to fly out and meet her the next year when we were on the list the second time. And they've been great ever since. This year we're on the list again. It's our fourth year.
The Oprah team reached out to us. They flew us out to New York, and they had this big studio all mocked up with a couple other people that were on the list as well. And we thought it was just gonna be Nick and I talking about our product on camera, and they brought us out into this room that had 100 cameras, lights everywhere, 100 people,
clipboards.
Yeah, clipboards, mics, headsets. And we start talking to Adam Glassman and Gail, describing, our white truff and what it means to be on the list and how everybody loves to give it away as gifts. And then next thing you know, we hear, it's my favorite truffle hot sauce. And we turn around and it was Oprah.
She said something like, I know people who have everything, but even the people who have everything, they still don't have Truff.
Yeah.
And we were like, ooh. Speaking on the tipping point, it was a huge tipping point for us. We kind of unlocked a box that was hard to unlock in terms of the different generations of audiences. That was our first entrance on the Amazon, because Amazon and Oprah kind of have a list display together. And it really gave us that stamp from the masses, oh wow, I was on Oprah's list, it's a thing.
And we became the #1 best-selling hot sauce on Amazon within the first couple months of being on the platform.
Pretty much overnight.
Truff, 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 truff.
So our early retail strategy was be very slow and very cautious. We knew that our product was very expensive, not the norm for hot sauce, and we needed to proceed with caution. We started with stores that we knew could afford our price point and that had customers that would be willing to spend $15 on a bottle of hot sauce. I think one of our cool early accounts was Smets in Luxembourg, which is this cool clothing store. Neiman Marcus, Wally's in Beverly Hills, some high-end gourmet boutique shops that sold cheese and wine and olive oil and had clientele that was used to spending a little bit more on gourmet foods. The other thing we did is we had a case size that was pretty large. So we used to sell 24 packs at the time, where the normal case size is 6 in this industry. We did that for 2 reasons. One, so we could sell more bottles, but 2, so they would have a bigger investment in their specialty shop and have to build a display or showcase all the bottles at once, and it made them look cooler and they would do more volume. Our first real grocery retailer, which is still high-end, was Wegmans in the Northeast. They came to us at a trade show, again, being the naive guys we were. We were like, hey, we're not too familiar with this and we don't work with grocery stores. And the head buyer was like, hey, no, we're Wegmans, we're legit. He started showing us all their information. And after about 5 or 6 months, we ended up working with them. Just it took time to get the deal done. That was our first kind of entrance into grocery. And then our next big thing was testing a few Whole Foods stores in the Southern Pacific region out in the LA area. From there to that whole region and then to the whole nation of Whole Foods. And then now we're in about 18,000 stores. I think early on, we had this eComm strategy of just being strictly D2C and never really relying on retailers. We knew retail was dangerous because you pay slotting fees, and if you don't sell, you're kind of screwed. You'll never get that chance to be back on the shelf. So we were like, hey, let's give all the leverage to ourselves and not rely on a retailer. From there, we were we realized hey, maybe eComm in 5 years will be capped. Maybe we do need to start thinking about making sure this product would work in the store environment. And we actually had a friend who, had an eComm business who ended up selling it that was hey, just one thing I wish I did differently was spend a little more time on retail, so don't neglect that. And I think that gave us that kind of push to be very open to it versus being very, very narrow-minded to never wanting to be, in a grocery store.
So with the original Truff hot sauce, we kind of, created this new category of luxury condiments. and we created this playbook and understanding of how we could market this new category out into the world. And I think as time has progressed, a lot of our customers have asked us to do different things like, hey, you should make a ketchup, you should make a mustard, you should do a this, that, and the other. And I think we were very disciplined in kind of sticking to that one bold stroke of hot sauce and only hot sauce. And then eventually we kind of looked at these other categories that we could innovate in and create really high-end, top-shelf products. So since then we've developed a truffle pasta sauce, a truffle mayonnaise, a truffle oil, and a truffle salt.
A lot of this was retail driven in a way. So as we started to build out our retail program, we learned that there's demand for our products from the retail shopper, and that there was other categories in the store that could use the truff twist in a positive way. Like the mayo came as a result of shopper demand and a buyer wanting an amazing truffle mayo for their shelf. Our pasta sauce is something that we know people eat pasta multiple times a week in America, and we wanted to make sure we could be there and present and making that experience better. Our truffle oil was something that it's one of our favorite products because if you look at the truffle oil industry, it's very, they'll have these little 2 or 3 ounce jars for like $19 of, you don't even know what's in there. And we wanted to deliver our quality, our integrity, our authenticity in oil form where it's actually better value. People associate truff with kind of a little bit more expensive, but in our truffle oil, for example, it's way more economical than buying a different truffle oil, and our quality is, in our opinion and from our kind of research, superior. And all these things led to continuing to build out different retail programs and working with different retailers, and now we're 18,000 retailers and about 10 miles from everyone in America. Our initial strategy was not to make a bunch of things. We kind of modeled Truff off of like Red Bull or like Cholula, who had like one product for decades. And these things kind of came as mainly from demand. For us, if we can't make an amazing product, we won't launch it, period. So we spent a lot of time making these products. Part of our new categories were amazing moments that we created, and then we sustained them with content and with, these great products that live in a lot of places and that we're slowly working into a lot of different parts of the kitchen experience. We obviously created the category of truffle hot sauce. I think we did it in a very thoughtful way, but there are definitely a lot of brands and people that try to make a buck off of what we created, and they'll get online, they'll trash us, they'll say truff is this, truff is that, we're this and we're that, and we take pride in just building the best. Gary Vee says, I want to build the tallest building. I don't want to rip everyone else's building down. And for us, we're just like, let's just do our thing and let these people do their thing, and we don't care.